So today's warm-up involves writing and solving an expression and then applying what we know about rational numbers. We're looking at a parachutist that is at 130 and 5/6 feet above the ground, above sea level. And he's going to descend. We have to know that descend means to go down or decrease 45 and 3/8 feet. We know that we're going to be writing a subtraction problem and an addition problem. And then, of course, we're going to be applying what we know about expressions to find the height of that parachutist. So, first thing, write a subtraction problem. Well, that's easy enough. We know we're starting at 130 feet, or 130 and 5/6 feet, sorry, minus 45 and 3/8 feet. And we have to use this same expression as a subtraction problem. So I'm going to start in the same place. I'm not going to change where the parachutist is starting. Oh, instead of this subtraction problem, I'm sorry, we're writing an addition problem. So instead of that subtraction problem, we started with a subtraction problem. So here we are, we know we have to add. Well, what's the same thing as subtracting 45 and 3/8? Well, that would be adding the opposite, which is negative 45 and 3/8. These two expressions are equivalent. And now we need to choose one of those two expressions to solve. So I would think that most of you would be drawn to solve the subtraction problem, so we'll go ahead and solve that. Let me erase that. So 130 and 5/6 minus 45 and 3/8. So the first thing we want to do is analyze those fractions to see if it's just a simple subtraction problem or if we have to do some borrowing. So the thing that we need to do first is find the least common multiple or least common denominator of 6 and 8. We should know that that's 24. That means we're going to be changing both of those fractions to some number over 24. So I say to myself, how do I get from 6 to 24? That would be times 4. Therefore, I multiply the 5 times 4. That gives me 20. And I do the same thing with the 8. How do I get from 8 to 24? That's times 3. So I do 3 times 3, which is 9. And now when I look at these two fractions, I can tell that I'm going to be taking 9 away from 20. Therefore, I know I don't need to borrow from the 130 or the 45. I don't need to touch those. So I'm going to carry on just dealing with those fractions for now. So that means I really have 20 24ths minus 9 24ths. And as we know we do when we set up this chart, we ignore the denominators for now, only deal with the numerators. So that's 20 minus 9, we know is 11. And I've got my denominator, my numerator. I bring those here. I've got 11 24ths. So let's rewrite that again. I've got 130 and 5/6 minus 45 and 3/8. I know that I was able to change that to 130 and 20 24ths. Minus 45 and 9 24ths. Because 20 is larger than 9. I didn't have to do any borrowing or messing with the whole numbers. So I already know that when I subtract those fractions, 20 24ths minus 9 24ths gives me 11 24ths. So now I simply have 130 minus 45. So the way I mentally do that is I think to myself, what's 130 minus 40? That gives me 90. And then I still have 5 more I need to take away, which gives me 85. And I know that this is an elevation in feet, so my final answer is 85 and 11 24ths feet.